What's that? Okay, cool. Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. We are live on YouTube. Yay! I'm actually so sorry. I'm gonna go get a water and I'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. Awesome. Thank you so much for your patience. So anyways, hey, it's Stan Franklin. We are live here on YouTube. Like I always say, I don't just report the news, I verify it. And so I have some things that we're going to go ahead and verify today. First of all, it's really good to be here. I'll be honest with you. I haven't been able to go live in a few days and I miss it. I'm actually gonna do one more thing. Y'all gonna be like, I'm so sick of him. I might, no, I'm not going to. I was thinking about like getting off live and doing a new live, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, this is raw, live, uncut, unfiltered. Dan Franklin. There's so much going on in media and news in the world, and I can't wait to just talk about this stuff with you guys. First of all, let's do a check-in. How are you doing? I hope all is well with you. And if it's not well, I hope that this gives you a little break from whatever you're dealing with. And I want to right now just give you a virtual hug and myself. I was listening to a young lady earlier today, and she was talking. She's a content creator, and she was talking about some things that she was going through, and it really reminded me, we never know what people are going through. People go to work, we present ourselves, even like here, there are people on social media all the time, and we never know what's going on behind the scenes. And when she was sharing, all I could think was like, oh my God, I wish I could have given you a hug then. Sometimes we talk about things once we're out of it, but sometimes we need a hug while we're in it. And so no matter what you're going through, even if you're in a good space, I still want to extend love and grace to you, celebrate. Okay, there we go. And then, I'm sorry, I'm getting calls. That's why it's doing that. And then from another place, I want to make sure that if you're going through something that you know that you're loving, that you matter, you're going to get through it, whatever that is. And when you're ready to talk about it, we'll be here to talk about it. How about that? Or there will be people around you that are ready to talk about it. But let's talk about Tamar, honey. We have so much to get into. So Tamar, as we know, a week ago, Tamar we talked about it, but I'll just give you a little background. Tamar had an injury. She posted on her Instagram, and then of course, people then went ahead and speculated about what was happening, because even though she gave descriptions of what happened to her, it was still very vague, and it left more questions than answers. Anywho, Tamar, then people start to speculate about who might be involved. And the night before, they start to put things together, and they're like, oh, well, she was with Funky Dineva, so who is a content creator. Shout out to Funky Dineva, who is actually live right now. So I'm kind of competing with him. But she, people speculated that it had something to do with Funky Dineva. Anyway, she went about life like she does. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and hit that like button. That thumbs up is a free way to support the channel. So she ended up posting about this, then posting about an upcoming song that was coming out. Basically, Funky Dineva got really upset because he's been called out or put on blast in the past for his drug use, which he's been openly and honest about, that at one point he engaged in, and using, stuff. He's since moved on from that, but whatever. Some people don't want to let that go. So there was some, I guess, alleged speculation that he had something to do with her, which I immediately knew wasn't true. He's from South Florida. I had the pleasure of hanging out with him before, and he's just not that kind of person anyway. And so he wanted her to come out and defend him. She didn't do it in the time that he wanted. He put her on blast. She finally came out. Then she sent out subliminals, and then they were going back and forth. Well, Tamar comes out on live. She doesn't look like she had like a nose job or anything like that, but you can definitely tell something going on with her teeth. And she proceeds to basically tell us, like, I am in pain. I have been going through things. And, you know, I'm being bullied by this person. If I wasn't their friend, I wouldn't spend money on them. Because apparently the night they were out, she paid for that event where they were at the club. I'm going to be honest. This is my opinion. You know, I've reported on it. Please make sure you go to my page and you view my videos because I report on these things. Tamar has a history of being dramatic, okay? I love this lady. I think she's talented. I love the Braxton family value show. But Tamar is a mess. And it's always drama with Tamar. And she's problematic. We did not need to know this even happened. Tamar could have dealt with her. And she says, I didn't know what to do. I really find that hard to think because Tamar is not only a public figure, she's like in her 40s. Like, what 40-year-old person that's mature goes online and just randomly posts this kind of stuff? And then once there's all this speculation, she's, you know, playing victim. I think Tamar knows exactly. Tamar vacillates from her own realities, in my opinion. She knew what she was doing. She knew that people were going to want to know what happened. It was going to get some engagement. She did not think about the consequences her actions would have on the people around her. And just how irresponsible it is to just put vague things out like that, especially at the level of an artist she is. So, Tamar, please do us all a favor and baby, get well and stay off the internet. I understand you have an album coming out. Oh, that was another thing. After she went online, kind of playing, this person's being mean to me and I'm being bullied. And then she said, I'm not going to put out the album. Baby, put the album out at this point. You already used this situation for promo by putting out like when you lost your teeth and had this injury and was hospitalized, what at that point because the public doesn't know you're putting out a project. So at what point didn't you think, you know what, maybe I should postpone, like privately with your team, postpone this album because I'm not even well. So now you get on, the girl just acts weird. I'm sorry. It's weird. But I do love Tamar. I wish her well. I hope that she gets well soon. Now I want to kind of talk about Funky. I'm kind of just talking off the top of my head. I feel like Funky Dineva jumped the gun. I'm going to say this. Do I think Tamar Braxton put him in a weird position? Absolutely. Do I think that he also jumped the gun by getting very angry and frustrated and jumping to conclusions? I mean, I watched the videos. At one point, he's saying, I wasn't able to enjoy my time in Miami because people are hitting me up online and they are talking about that I had something to do with Tamar's injury. But then he goes back when he's talking about it and is on his rant. He goes, yeah, and child, I was in Miami and I don't have time for that. Well, sir, you said you were literally thinking about it, that you couldn't enjoy yourself in Miami because you were so concerned about it, to then say you're not concerned about it. Which is it? You know? And it just shows that he also is a little all over the place. And I think rightfully so. If people are making these assumptions about you, I understand you being upset. But also being someone who works in media, knowing how fast false information spreads, I do feel like he could have handled it a lot better. And I'm very disappointed. But it is also on brand for Funky Dineva. I mean, if we look back at Funky Dineva and how he's handled conflicts, whether it was him working with Mona Scott or his relationships with other creators or his relationship when he was on, you know, Fox Soul. He's notorious also for jumping the gun, being emotional, and how he responds to situations. So yeah, in regards to Funky Dineva, I also think his hands are not clean, that he could have given her more time to heal, to deal with whatever she was dealing with, knowing who he's dealing with, and then addressed it. It did feel like he was expecting a response and basically saying if she did not do this, he was going to do that. So that's all I have to say about that particular situation right now. But yeah, that's a hot mess. Moving right along. So this week, or last week, I should say, the trailer for Housewives of Potomac dropped. This is their season 10. Some of the notable highlights that I noticed and that I saw in some of the comments, and I did post a video about this. Monique Samuels is back. I'm not sure if I'm excited about Monique being back. Not that I liked Monique or didn't like Monique. I didn't think she didn't particularly grab my attention to that I was like, oh my God, I want Monique there. And she also wasn't so bad that I didn't want her there, if that makes sense. I could care less if she was there or if she wasn't there. There are certain people on that show that just stand out. And I feel like if they weren't there, the show would be very different. But I'm not going to get into who those are. But Monique's back. I am interested to know if you guys care about that. And seeing where she's at now as a single mother after her divorce from Chris. Also, Karen Huger, it was visibly out of the promo, but yesterday she was released from jail after her 6-month stint in the Slammer for her DUI. That got more press, in my opinion, than the trailer. People were more interested in Karen Huger getting out of jail than they were the trailer. So that says a lot about her place in the show. I don't know if she's going to be or at what capacity she's going to be. Maybe she's going to come in at the tail end because I think Bravo should definitely leverage the media coverage about her. I mean, to me, she is the star of that show right now. Giselle, boring as usual, but I love Giselle and she's boring. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say about that. I'm going to watch it. You know, I plan on watching it and doing reviews. So I've already done a short about it. We can talk about it more at our next meeting here or once I do another live where I'm actually going to talk about the show. All right, next story. Girl, what is going on with Kelly Price? So for those of you who watched her on R&B Divas, you know, growing up knowing Kelly Price, I wasn't a huge fan, but I knew who she was. She did the song with Whitney. Then I was like, oh, okay. You know, she's a church girl. She used to sing backup for Mariah Carey. I'm thinking she's chill. Well, she's making it known she's from Jamaica, Queens, and she's coming to see you. I get confused with her gangster persona and the pseudo-religiosity that she puts out. You know, one minute she's a gangster and don't talk to her crazy. The next minute she is praying for you and pray for me, but the Lord knows my heart. I really think something's going on psychologically with Kelly, and I've been thought that. You know, I don't understand how she's up there laid up with this young boy who made her go missing allegedly for months, and we didn't know, her family didn't even know where she was, and she's online listen, not Tamar. Kelly Price is a established artist. Is she a huge artist? No. But within her niche, she's known and celebrated. Kelly knows she's going to get haters. Listen, I went online. I already knew I was going to have people calling me gay. Someone said I look like Andrew Caldwell the other day. That's just a part of being a public figure. You're going to attract people that love you, and you're going to attract people that hate you. The key is to focus on the love, okay? And at the end of the day, a hater is still an engagement. Baby, if someone's on here talking shit about my looks, my mannerisms, baby, are disliking it because whatever reason, that's still engagement. In the world or the context of social media, that's still engagement. So you're still winning. So I don't understand why she's allowing what like some of her fan base is saying get to her head like this. But I've seen her act out like this again in R&B Divas, where she was threatening and talking about I got Vaseline in my sneakers when they were doing a monologue. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but a mess. So Kelly baby, go get you some help. I jokingly said it's a little not nice. I said somebody go give her a pork chop, make sure seasoned, and bring me one too, because I'm not saying I don't like a pork chop either. But Kelly needs to get it together. A woman in the stage of her career, a woman of her accomplishments should not be arguing with a hater on Instagram. And I wish she would have addressed it in a way that represented her brand, this I guess is her brand, represented her accomplishments. I don't think it does. I think she looks like a hood rat. And in my opinion, I don't think she is. So it's just like, why are you acting out? And to make these blanket statements about Black women, like, let's be clear. I've been to see Kelly Price. No offense, there are no white people in the audience. I have not seen none. There were no, and I'm not saying she doesn't have a white fans. I'm not saying she doesn't have a Latino fans. I'm not saying she doesn't have fans of all gender. Of course she does. But I'm talking about when she goes to Miami or major cities to perform, this is who's going to see her. And 90% of those people are Black women. Sprinkle in a little men, whatever. Why would you make blanket statements like this about your core demographic that is supporting you? She did say something about Black men too in her 45-minute live in her bonnet. To me, it's a misstep. Kelly, get the right people around you. Find another outlet to express your grievances. I'm not saying you shouldn't be upset or offended, but like this is what comes with the territory, and it's just really disappointing to see. And that's that on that. All right, next. Child, Chris Brown. Is Chris Brown's tour a scam? Okay. So the reason I even knew this happened is shout out to my cousin Kendra. She went to it's called the Breezy Bowl XX in Atlanta. Her husband owns a sprinter company, so they had their sprinter. They got there early because they didn't want to miss anything. She also said she's a huge Summer Walker fan, so she was looking forward to seeing Summer Walker perform. I think she paid around, in the premium, like $1,000 for her tickets. They're floor seats, they're premium tickets. Now, allegedly, there was some change ups to the seats due to an expansion of the stage. So I guess production had to make the stage bigger, and this impacted where the seating was. This is a mess because the type of artist Chris Brown is, and the type of show he's putting on, a stadium show, these are things that your team should have worked out. Baby, you could have used ChatGPT to figure out where to move these people and how to communicate or whatever. I don't know. I don't work in that industry. But it was a super drop. Somebody dropped the ball. And what Chris has to understand is, regardless of whether or not it was Chris's fault, they're going to see Chris Brown. They're not going to see Live Nation. They're not going to see the stadium worker, the sound engineer. They're not going to see the stage engineer. They're going to see Chris Brown. And so the frustration is going to be with that artist. Chris has to make sure he has the right team and that they're setting him up for success. They're setting up his image for success, because now that all is into play with that. So they arrive to the thing and they get told their seats have been moved. So they have to go to another line to get new seats. Keep in mind now, this is like hundreds of people. The show is starting. They're in line waiting to get their new seats. There's confusion with that because I don't even think the venue was able to handle it well, which it was last minute. So now people wait in line. My cousin said she was in line for like an hour. She could hear the openers do their entire set, start to hear Chris Brown do his set. By the time, and then once she tries to walk to her seat, there's confusion about, oh, you're in section B? It's over here. No, it's over there. And the people on the floor are frustrated that are working because they've been dealing with this. And she doesn't get to her seat until halfway through the show. So you can imagine how frustrated she was. Now, my cousin, God bless her, she spoke about this so positively and was really chill about it. I could not have been. No, sir. That is unacceptable. Beyonce would never, okay? So for all of you people hating on Beyonce, Beyonce would never. I'm joking. But she wouldn't. I mean, because it's reflective of Chris Brown, not the venue, not Live Nation, not the stage designer. These kinks should be worked out. So, yeah, poor thing. I feel bad for him, but do better, bruh. If you're gonna put on a performance of this magnitude, charge people premium pricing. All these things need to be handled beforehand. I'm not paying premium to then micromanage your process. Like that sounds like they should be paid for that. I did post, and people are now, the impact of this is that the upcoming dates, people are trying to sell their tickets because they don't want to go, because they don't want to deal with that. So I saw a lot of people saying they're going to try to sell their tickets because, who wants to go there? And in the video my cousin posted, the people were upset. And I said something about them fighting. I don't believe there were no reports that they were fighting, but people were frustrated. I mean, I would be frustrated. I mean, I paid my money and now I'm trying to figure out where my seat is. Like, this is ridiculous. So, child, whatever. It's a mess. Alrighty, what's my next topic? Oh my God, okay. I haven't been able to really look into this because this literally started dropping once when I was getting ready to go live. Apparently, some victims of Jeffrey Epstein have decided to produce a client list because some people are taking long producing lists that they said they were gonna provide to the public. You know who you are, and you know who I'm talking about. So, because they're probably on the list. How you go from being best friends with somebody, taking all these photos with them, and now you don't know what's going on and da 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 da. Boy, bye. So anywho, apparently they're going to release it. Now, I am a little worried, I will tell you this. There have been several people connected to that whole situation that have spoken out and they just mysteriously die. I mean, unalived. I forgot I'm online. They're mysteriously unalive. Or they're unalived. It's weird, but it's happening. So I am very worried about, there are a lot of people that have a lot to lose in terms of their legacies, if stuff like that gets out. So I hope that these people are safe. But yeah. And we'll talk, I'm gonna do some research on that and I'll do a post about it. Listen, my name's Dan Franklin. I do wanna say this too. Somebody said I'm all over the place. I am, sorry. And I'm working on that, so stick with me. This is a process. All right. So the last thing I wanna say is, honey, with the rise in AI, there is so much misinformation that is spreading so quickly. I've done research on it. It's really bad. So 9 times out of 10, when you talk to somebody about anything pop culture news related, they're probably repeating something they heard that's unverified. There was also a study that showed like 60% of what creators post or share, they're not verifying it. So when you are listening to just random creators and random things that are coming in your feed, you may be listening to something that's not true. And then you're repeating this and you think it's true because you're like, it looked good, it sound good. You might even hear the person saying it. Well, I heard Denzel Washington say this. And it's not Denzel Washington, it's an actual AI that used his voice. Listen, you got to be careful. And so the reason that Verified by Dan Franklin matters to me is because my goal is to build a community with you. So while you're out living your life, hustling, bustling, working, taking care of your kids, going to school, whatever you're doing in life, you could be going to chemo for all we know. I mean, and just living life, right? You may not have time to check every news thing, everything that's going on and go, well, what's actually the truth? Now, in my YouTubes, I'm going to create, and I create longer form videos where I break down in detail. My shorts, I high level just go over the things that you need to know. So you have a quick high level overview of what happened and it's verified, okay? And I'm gonna talk more about how I verify the information that I have, but it is verified. It is not clickbait. Now the headline might be a bit sensationalized for engagement, but the facts are the facts. It's gonna be based off the facts and what actually happened. I'm not gonna say, this person was found guilty and they were not, or say something didn't happen. And if I talk about something and I give my opinion, I'm giving my opinion. I'm not going to say this is what actually happened. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I'm growing a community here, and I would love for you to be a part of it. Also, make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss Verified Pop Culture News by me, Dan Franklin. Remember, I'm doing the verification for you so you don't have to. And when you see my face on your feed, and if you subscribe and follow me on your socials, you'll see my face more because it'll pump it to you because it knows that you're following me, especially if it knows you like the particular content that I'm talking about. You won't be, so susceptible to false information. Make sure that you like this video, leave a comment. I want to hear what you guys think about each topic. I love you. Thank you for watching, and I will definitely see you sooner than later. Love you. Bye. Mwah. See you next time. I never know how to leave, by the way.